Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and there's another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them So You Don't Have to. Today I want to talk about the Spirit Affinity Epic Attack-Based Dark Elf Champion, Luria. As always, first thing we want to do is check out her kit, so let's jump right into this and see where she stands. Here she is. First of all, funky looking. I like this model. I think it's the same as Sylar, and I dig it. I don't know, the hidden dominatrix in me. I don't know what it is, but I think it's cool. Her stats: HP 13050, pretty low, but for an attack-based champion, pretty typical. Attack at 1487, defense 947, beautiful speed at 104. One of the upper end of epic-based champions for sure. Crit rate 15. Oddly enough, for an attack-based champion, crit damage at 50% seems a little weird, but does come in at 10 accuracy, 30 resist. Her abilities: has a Hex on a 5-turn cooldown, which has an 80% bookable to 100% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns on a single target. Her A2, which is where she's known for, is a 4-turn cooldown, and attacks all enemies has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Plus, enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. And this is bookable to a 75% chance. No cooldown booking again. And then her A1 has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense, or a 100% heal reduction, or a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. And that's bookable to 75%. So let's take a look at how I've built her out to start this. The reason why I say start this is I have seen information in the past about Luria is that she doesn't hit very hard, but we want to make sure for ourselves we have a tried and true system of testing our champions out, making sure that they can or cannot hit very hard. I also have to check out my test subjects. I knew it. I knew someone stole it. Okay, it was me. I just built out the my new unkillable. I went to the bad eater. I went to the dark side. So we're gonna fire the other champions up in a minute and get through that. But let's just take a look. Broken set, although I was able to get an attack set in there, so I really wanted to pump her attack up fairly good without stealing a bunch of gear. So what we have is 24,360 HP, attack at 4837, 1800 defense, speed at 210, crit rate 100, 216 crit damage, with a debuff accuracy of 250. So her masteries that we've gone down, again, we're looking to make sure she can do damage. If she can't, she can't. We'll build her out differently. Not all attacks are built equally. Unfortunately, 1400 attack sounds good, but doesn't necessarily mean anything if the multipliers aren't there. So we went down here. We don't mind the fact of her getting that cooldown. Her cooldowns kind of irked me that there was no, for the amount of books she took, which I think it was 14 or 15, a lot on her A1 too, which really upsets me. Really irks me, I guess is the better thing. But we definitely want that opportunity to get that cooldown. So we went down here. This isn't going to help with the freeze, but it is going to help with the A1, right, which has 3 different abilities. It was really, do I want to extend it or do I want to, because I wanted to go down this set so we can get the extra accuracy pieces on it. And then down here we just went down to damage. We wanted to get that first hit ability, so this is always an extra damage, which is always nice. And then of course, like I said, getting down that 30% chance to reduce the cooldown on one of her skills, which is always a bonus when you're dealing with this type of champion. All right, so here we are at the Ice Golem, and I had totally blanked. We don't bring a leak in for this test because of Spirit Affinity, so why don't we bring in one of our old favorites, Fenax. He is not overwhelmingly geared, but we'll take a look at all the different ones. So for the single target comparison, we have the king himself, Rhodos the Lost Groom, and he's going to be sitting at 5,600 attack, 171 speed, 229 crit damage. Those are the big, I mean, I guess the big thing is 229 crit damage, 5,600 speed, 2,300 HP. And then our next contestant is Rhodos. He's going to be our AoE damage, and he's sitting at 5,242 attack at 288 crit damage. And finally, we are going to look at Fenax, just as a rough comparison, 247 crit damage at 3,863 attack. So let's bring them in here and let's take a look at their different abilities. We got them nice and slow here. We'll debuff. And I mean, it doesn't really matter who. It's a comparative thing here, right? We've already seen what each of these can do throughout the different videos I've done. So I think we take I don't even remember her name. Or should we be penitent? Whatever. So this is a single target A3 and removes all buffs and has a 80%, so 100% chance to block debuff for 2 turns. Sidebar, why does that say 100%? If it's booked, which she's fully booked, why doesn't it just say 100%? Okay, let's see what that does. 75. I don't know, I heard someone say she didn't hit that hard. I think that's a pretty good 75, and he's doing 72 with his A1s is only A1 ability. Let's see what his A is also an attack one enemy. Yeah, 89. He's hitting a little bit harder. I mean, granted, it's not removing any buffs. It's putting a slow. And then I guess his A3, just for giggles, is doing 113. So 60,000 per, I think, is a fair one. She got 4 to 5 frozen. Let's watch here. We can use, well, we'll use A3. They're very similar in overall damage. This one's obviously easier to see. 78, 79. You see how much less damage he did against ones that were frozen, especially here. Has no attack down or defense down. And then we'll have to. Okay, here. So yes, I guess it's not as hard hitting. It's pretty comparative though. Like, considering she's putting a freeze. Freeze is a pretty strong ability. What we'll do is we'll actually just use her A1 here. So you're looking at him again, 93, 85, 88. You're looking at him 44, 44, 43. So yeah, I don't know. I think she fits it pretty much in line with Fenax for damage. It's not far off. Considering what you're looking at for ranges, he's got higher crit damage, less attack. She's got higher attack, less crit damage. But I'm not upset by that damage at all. Let's see. I feel like I should be using Sir Nick here now, especially now that he's out of both of them are out of the clan boss. I think the bonus here is, you put the two together here, Fenax and Luria, and you have an opportunity, a real strong opportunity to not worry about the she's gonna die if she takes too many of those. Oh, that's why Brian Blind's here. What do we care? Die all you want. Boom. Yeah, I mean, I guess Blind Seer's proof in the pudding. Is this a Blind Seer show? Right, see if she gets around to that A2 and see if it can do enough damage here. Nope, she didn't have enough yet for it. 89 on that. That's not bad. He's hit for 98 when he one hit that one. 101. I mean, gosh. I feel like those numbers are pretty comparative. I'm sure someone's gonna bitch that I don't have them. Put them in the same gear, but I'm not. It's not against each other. Fight Night round 3. Battle of the Revives. The spirit lives on. Hey, there's a block revive. And this is the big thing about having these tiers. If you can get them both to block revive, if she'll ever use her A2, has she used her A2? We might have an issue here. Honestly, I'm not that upset about the time, considering I just threw this team together. No tuning or anything. 143. Probably could get that below 130. It's actually not bad. Yeah, I don't know. She did 1 million damage. She Venus's poisons win the day. Fenax did a little bit more damage. She kept dying. I have a very squishy build, but I don't know. I think I would prefer her as damage build. I read that she didn't do damage, but I feel like she did. I mean, she did do damage. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Do you think her damage is out of whack? I mean, granted, I'm not doing apples to apples here because I'm not really trying to do a comparison. I'm just trying to get a range understanding, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think she's really good in the Ice Golem. She didn't happen to use her A2. You know what? We got to do this again because I want to see her use her A2 or not. Well, take me off the screen so I can fast forward it. Actually, no, I'll cut me out. Sears, sweet for this level, I think. She brings in turn meter reduction. Boom. Yeah, there it is. So she got the block revive. That's good. She froze out one of them. Yeah, I mean, with a little tuning, maybe bring it. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe bring in Sir Nick over Bad Al, but honestly, Bad Al with the poisons and the heals versus Sir Nick with the shields and the heals and the unkillable. Meh. I mean, my usual team's 120. If that gives you any indication, my fastest on it has been like just under a minute. But this is certainly not a level I speed farm. She's her blind seer's turnaround on that ability is so fast. There we go. So again, 143. So that's pretty consistent. Again, she did the block revive this time. He happened not to. This is a pretty consistent team, I would think, right? My blind seer is not going down, especially with Bad Alcazar healing her. And then you have Bad Alcazar as the weak affinity. So he's going to take the brunt of most attacks in the wave. So these two should be fairly okay until they kill themselves on wave 2. And then the boss is an AoE, so it's not much you can do with that. But again, pretty good. I think our next bet is let's take her into the arena. Here we are in the arena. We're gonna take Luria into the arena. We're gonna try a couple different scenarios and try to find out. Oh god, this hurts so much. This hurts so much. Well, maybe they aren't. Are these? Well, they're not really Autobots. Decepticons. All right, that's what I do for you guys. Okay. Oh, yeah, here's a team that I shouldn't be able to beat. So we've got 3 scenarios that we're going to try here. I realized I already recorded this once and realized I didn't fully explore all options. Let's just put it that way. I didn't think it through. So here's scenario 1. I'm going to use a triple boost strip and then her at the end, just so we can see what she does. There's no debuffs on her. This wouldn't be... The reason why I like showing this is because this is actually a very familiar run. I do this quite a bit with Foley, although probably not as much anymore now that Madame Saris works properly. But this just gives us kind of a good idea of what we can do for damage. We got one locked out. We got pretty good damages here. Yeah, overall not too bad. I mean, we have a problem there with that. We can do this along with a boost. I was worried about that. Should have unlocked her. Oh, nothing I can do about it now. You know what I'm saying? Perfect. You fell into my trap. I love it when a plan comes into play. We don't want her going. Let's put it that way. We could just kill her outright. I think we can kill her with someone else. Let's do that. Decent damage. We'll make sure she doesn't get locked out. We don't want her to go. Probably kill her now. Oh, not quite. Oh, she barely lived through that. Yeah, we'll kill her. Probably kill her. Oh, I probably should have turn meter boosted. That's on me. Oh, actually, that kind of worked for me. Although, poor Luria is going to kill herself. Take her with you. Yeah, that's an ultimate sacrifice. I should have actually backed out of that because I would have liked to have seen that same fight in effort 2. It's a Tau guy, so he's probably fast enough that this would be the more likely scenario for using her as your nuker. I'm still not committed on using her as a nuker. But I mean, I guess we'll find out here. This has got to be a pretty decent team. If he's faster than me, then we're cutting this out. Never in doubt. All right, so we're getting the full debuff experience here. Then we're going to use that A to see what we can do for damage. I mean, here, so that was the perfect scenario, actually. I mean, she doesn't do next level damage, but that's a pretty decent team. It's a member of Tau. So it's, you know, probably, I don't know if it's their Tau 3 or Tau, however many they have, but reasonable to believe it. 202 power, obviously not building out as a resist team. It's probably an overall well-built guild hall. That's a strong job, and most importantly, 3 of them are block revives. So yeah, I left Arbiter alive, but what's she gonna do? There's nothing. We've won at that point. I love the damage. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that overall. Can I check it from here? Yeah, 5 million player power. He's right around me. I think I'm at 6.6. So overall, I would say that's a reasonable comparison there. Let's do another one just to double check here. The big thing is if you can kill the important. Now it's Spirit Affinity, so this is the drawback of this champion. But I think a lot of people are going through thinking she's a budget Ray, and I don't know if that's true. Still hit. Like that's great. I'm actually shocked how hard she's hitting in here, considering like this isn't crazy gear that I'm putting her in, and these aren't pushovers that I'm fighting. I don't think, right? Let's get one more. I mean, eventually I'm gonna get outsped here. I feel like. Let's try this one more time. And it's funny that this happens to be against Foley, because that is what I think this champion is. Well, there, now we finally got the weak hit, so obviously we're treading water here. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try a double nuke with a single boost. Assuming, I mean, I assume I'm faster than her because I got this aura, but my Arbiter isn't that fast comparatively. So I'm gonna F it up this time. Foley fans, those of you who use Foley, word of the wise: going up against a Rotos, target Rotos so that you can clap them. So now look at this. We got 2 of them down. We got 2 of them down. Yeah, I mean, I think she's usable. I think there's room for her in here. It's similar to Fenax. My final thoughts on Luria are this: I like her. I think she's a really good champion. I think she does really well where she knows her lane, and she does really well in it. I think in the Ice Golem, she could be a late game champion for people that haven't pulled specific champions, right? Low to spend, even high spend. I think the fact that her A2 hits really hard, and it can lock out champions and freeze them, or lock out revive and freeze if they don't get killed, is an amazing ability. I like it overall. I like her damage overall. She's not hitting OP levels. She's not hitting God tier level damage, but she's kind of in that next group that she's hitting really good. I had heard that she didn't hit well, and that is a complete false statement. She hits really well, and I would have built her out a long time ago had I not realized, or had I realized that she hits as well as she does. She does have some drawbacks, and we'll go to that in a second. What I will say is a lot of people talk about her kind of like she's a budget Ray. She's not. She is in that you can either build her to do her debuff side, or you can build her to do her damage side, and you're kind of not looking for both. If she's killing them, she's not freezing them, and that's the better scenario. But I think that the better way to look at Luria is that she is a budget Foley. I think she's got the same AoE ability as Foley does. She can lock people out if she kills them, but she has the added bonus she can actually, whereas Foley's added bonus that he gets a second hit on one of the champions. So you're pretty much guaranteed, unless double weak hit, to kill a champion. I use it all the time to take out Brackus, because even one weak hit doesn't seem to be enough, and he can kill them. But and she doesn't do Foley's damage, don't get me wrong, but she's got enough damage. We took her into the arena. We showed what she can do. She can lock someone else. She can freeze. She has a 75% chance of freezing whoever doesn't die to her A2. And I think if you build her out with that in mindset in the arena, I think she's usable up to the late game. I feel like you could farm gold 4 with her very easily. And my gear, while good, wasn't amazing. I didn't put her in Savage gear. I didn't put her in Cruel gear. I didn't have her above 250 crit damage. I had her in the 4400 attack, which is good. Like it's definitely decent, but it's not end game. It's not 5k, 5500. Like it's not my ethos. 288 crit damage, 5500 attack, right? She's considerably lower than that and still ending fights in arena, and I think that's very good. That said, I always have improvements, and on this champion the improvements can make her an absolute end game option without overpowering her. And it is simply this: the first thing you have to do is get rid of this stupidity that is her A1. She's got 15 books. 15 books is unreasonable for this champion. Knock out 3 books right here. Boom, 3 books gone. I don't care about the extra debuff chance. Get rid of all debuff chance. Make it 3 damage, only 3 books on her A1. Get rid of decreased defense, get rid of heal reduction. So she has a 50% chance of dropping a decreased speed for 2 turns. It's a nice added bonus on an A1 that just hits reasonable, right? But it's not, you can't build her out for this ability. So her A1 is a nice to have, and you don't build out a nice to have decreased defense. You don't build out a nice to have heal reduction. If you need those, you build out those, and there's enough champions that have either one of those on their A1 that why would you bring Luria in for that? So decreased speed, on the other hand, is something that it's nice to have. If you reduce the speed of a champion, especially some of the bosses in Doom Tower and some of the waves in Doom Tower where that would be incredibly handy, yeah, this is an absolute champion that'd be useful then. And then you get rid of some of the books so she's not so book intensive, especially on her A1, which drives me up the wall. Secondly, her A2, okay, if you give me the A1, I'll give you the A2. I am not a fan of 4-turn, but I understand she's an epic, so I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the 75%. I'm okay with the 4-turn. I'm okay with the 5 books. Everything here is good. We won't touch it. But her A3 is a forgotten ability because it never gets used, and it's not very useful. Like I said at the beginning, you could build her out to land debuffs, or you could build her out to do damage. But if you're building her out to just land debuffs, she's a one-trick pony. Her A1 is inconsistent. Her A2 is the freeze that you'd be building her out for. This is a single target, even though it's 100%. Make this an AoE. Take away some of the damage. I'm okay with that. If you don't want it to be 100%, I would be begrudgingly okay. Although at a 5-turn, at a premium 5-turn, I think 100% chance to block buffs is reasonable. Then you've got a Luria that you can build out as a support style or an attack style champion. You've got options with Luria. She would be definitely very late game in several different scenarios without being overpowered. She's still very frail. She's very easy to kill still, and that's kind of the balancing act with her. And then she's kind of on par with Fenax, who has 2 great abilities. He's got that lockout block debuff A2 plus his A1 that can block revive. Makes his overall kit, plus he's got a decreased speed on a hard-hitting A3, right? You bring her to that level of champion. I think we need more champions at Fenax level, where you don't see Fenax everywhere like you do Madame Ceres for epics, for example, but enough that makes them usable. You give me that, I'll give you the 5 turns. I'll keep it at 5 turns, I'm okay. Or you give me 4 turns on a 1-turn cooldown on booked, and I'll give you 75% chance instead of 100% chance. If you just want to keep a little more RNG to separate the epic from the gold, I guess. But those are my thoughts on this champion. What do you think? Leave it in the comments down below. Luria, I say build her. I say she's amazing for Ice Golem. I say she's really good for Arena. And I think she could be tweaked to be a lot better and still not be overpowered. That's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who did enjoy it, thank you very much. For those who didn't, thank you for sticking around to this point anyway. I appreciate you. Please stay safe out there, be kind, and we'll see you in the next video.